most amazing cleavage I've ever seen.
You thought your fiance's boobs were big. Check out the ass cheeks.
The smell wasn't great.
I've been at a convention all day.
Don't you know the rules?
Yeah, the rule of
You're
9.
supposed to shower.
We covered that somewhere.
Mistakes have been made. Do we have any more questions?
Charlie wants to rub his forehead so bad.
It hurts.
On your butt crack?
No.
The man in the floor
Yes.
made.
Hi.
So, I was gonna ask, so how often does like it happen when like DHX or like Hasbro or like anyone like in charge or I guess comes down and like tells and gives you guys like direction or something?
Almost never.
Never.
The Hasbro has been incredibly great at letting us do super weird things on the show.
I actually cannot.
You know that puppet
I can't agree
thing?
with that.
They love
Yeah.
that. You know that? You know the weird live action gummy and
Yeah.
they love that. Like they allow us to do some stupid things on this show, and they have been more than supportive. I know everyone likes to say, "Oh, Hasbro's screwing the fans over." No, Hasbro loves the show, and they let us do weird shit.
It's true, could be worse, man.
Yeah.
Michael Bay could be directing My Little Pony.
For a licensed property, this is unheard of. They could come down. They could come and say tomorrow, "We don't like where you're going with the show," and we'd have to totally change it, but they don't.
That's awesome.
See, they actually stopped me.
Well, that makes sense.
I know. Well, no. So for me, well, yeah. So for me, my four-color Grails variant for number 30, they originally asked me to do the actual Avengers as ponies. So I did an entire cover. I mean, I did the entire thing from pencil, inks, and colors. Every pony was an Avenger. It wasn't like Twilight or anything. It was actual, Tony Stark was a pony. Captain America was a pony. And Hasbro, and the funny thing is the editor, Bobby, who works for, he's the editor of all the comics, and we knew immediately this is no way this is happening.
No, it's not going to pass.
No, we
illegal.
knew, and I'm sitting here drawing this whole thing, and I had literally had a week deadline to do this
Of
cover.
course.
So I did this whole cover, and sadly, I mean, we knew it, and they came back and Hasbro said, "No, we're not going to mess with fucking Marvel.
Yeah,
we're not doing it."
You don't fuck with the mouse.
Because at that time it was
the mouse
Disney.
will
Yeah,
kill
it was
you.
Disney, and so
The
we're
mouse will
like,
kill you.
so I literally had at that point I had less than a week to do an entire different cover, which became the Power Ponies, and we changed it. So instead of, because at the time it was going to be Captain America as a pony saying Avengers Assemble, we tried to find a funny way to do it. So we said Power Ponies Congregate, and you actually have Rarity. You have Rainbow Dash saying that doesn't sound right. So that's what we did. So
But
that
that's
was,
way funnier, though.
it was funnier.
that
So
is like-
that, I think maybe with the comics it may be a lot harder to get away with stuff because I feel like sometimes we're a little bit under more scrutiny than you guys are. A
Maybe
little
I
bit.
think the world you're in is very different. Like
Yes.
you have more obvious direct competition.
We do because we can't mess with Marvel. We can't mess with DC. I mean, as an
Which
artist
is funny though,
myself,
because like Andy did that Avengers International homage cover.
no, let's just say Andy ripped it off. Let's just say that right now. No, I think there's like a fine line of what you're able to do. It's like if you're gonna do like an homage to it, it's fine. But if you're straight up gonna sit there and put like Captain America as a pony,
Yeah.
and even though I didn't put an A on there, I put an E. For
But it's clear who it is. It's hard to argue.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
very clear. You have to watch yourself. Now, if I was to do like the Power Ponies, like I did, in very Avengers like situations, that's okay.
Yeah, like if you had posed them like Fantastic Four #1 with a big beast coming out of the ground, it would have
Exactly.
been okay.
Yeah, it would have been okay, but I
Because
feel
that's
like,
an homage then.
exactly. That's the difference. It's homage to just flat out ripping off the company. So but I think the show. I think you guys are able to get away from. I feel like you guys are away a little bit more
Well, I
than
think
we are.
we're very cognizant of the same things. Like
Right.
if we're referencing something,
Right.
we try to be very subtle about it.
Right.
And also that it works in the storytelling. It's not just a
Exactly.
reference for the sake of a reference.
So
Right.
I actually have a question that I just thought of. Tell me about how the
4 inches.
That's not what Katrina
Okay.
told me.
You could have said anything.
3 and a half.
I now have a new question. So tell me about. Did any of you guys are you guys Bioshock Infinite fans? Do you guys play that game? Thank you.
What's a video game?
It's this thing with the buttons that
Moving pictures and controls.
It's you may or may not be have caught this as one of like the little Easter eggs in one of the episodes. It's the one where they went to the swap
It's in
fair.
Traja, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a scene where two of the characters, two ponies that are very clearly based on the Latisse twins from Bioshock Infinite can be seen in the background. How did that happen?
That was the overseas animators put that in, and I didn't recognize the reference at the time, so it got through.
So it's just so that kind of thing can happen. Does the animators?
I mean, sometimes
just kind of come up with
the
their own
nice thing
things?
about the show is we encourage everyone at every stage to take ownership of whether it's the board or an individual scene and layout. Like, make it your own thing. This is your work. And if they want to try something super cool, I say let's go for it until Hasbro says don't do it anymore.
So who do I pay to get Sappho on the show?
I have a problem with
But that's kind of my understanding is that like I've heard this. Tell me if this is incorrect. But whenever you guys do anything that could possibly be intersecting with like some like a fanfic somebody wrote, like
We're legally not allowed to read fanfic. Like I don't ever read a fanfiction.
Yeah.
Even if someone says please read it, I can't because I need to have that reasonable doubt. Like if we do an episode that somehow is similar to a fan fiction, I need to be able to legally say I didn't subconsciously even take this idea.
That is the most Bean County thing I've ever heard in my life. But I get it.
It makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it sucks for those fans who want us to read their stuff, and I'm sure a lot of it's great, but I mean, my head's already polluted with all the other garbage I take into it. Not to say their stuff's garbage, but like...
He's talking about my...
And my life is so pony, and there's so many things going on in here. If I can't account for where an idea came from and say that it's 100% mine, then I get into trouble.
Sure. So with that being said, when you have animators who are arbitrarily creating characters based on other properties and inserting them into episodes.
But again, it's there's that reasonable doubt. I didn't know that reference at the time, so I couldn't.
So that keeps you safe. But what about the show?
But again, no one's. This is you guys saying that's what that is.
Okay.
We're saying, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if there's a character that maybe happens to look like the guys from The Big Lebowski, that's just a weird coincidence.
I like how you're working this.
There are characters that look
But the
like
thing is,
Lebowski.
it's based on
Yeah.
those are based on a character. They're not based on a specific person, too. It's not a likeness that is. It's not like we're doing something like this is Abraham Lincoln. Like, but again, he would be public domain because he's dead. But someone like Elvis or something, his estate is super litigious, so we would never do an Elvis pony because they would sue our butts.
Elvis pony.
Wouldn't that be Pelvis?
In the comics, we'll do whatever we
David
want.
Bowie pony.
There we go.
I think we got. I think
David
the comics could do it.
Brony.
David Brown. There we go.
That doesn't work with the pony nomenclature since they don't have human-based names.
Give him a bulge.
I will make sure there's a ball.
See, but that's
I'll just make
interesting
sure
though,
it's
man, because there's all these rules that come with the world.
But I mean, it's entertainment law is very sticky, and sadly, your country and even mine to a certain degree is very litigious. So they want a lot of it is just covering their butts, and it makes sense to me.
You say even mine to a certain degree. Are you not of the U.S.?
I am a Canadian. Okay.
Canadian. Okay, fair enough. So I have a question for both Jim and Jen.
Last question.
Okay.
Both of you work in very different sectors of the entertainment industry. So, Jim, what would you say is your biggest challenge in the job that you do working on My Little Pony? And I'm going to ask you the same thing, Jen, in just a moment.
Dealing with people on Twitter. No.
I'm sorry.
Everyone has been, for the most part, very, very nice. Just not losing the passion of working on the show because of the grind of the process. It's a very intensive work schedule, and there are days that are harder than others, and you don't necessarily want to just phone it in because you're tired.
Sure.
So,
Well, the average fan that of anything, it doesn't matter what fandom you're a part of, does not realize that for people like Jim and Jen that work in an industry full of rules, I mean, like crippling rules where you have to really be very careful how you handle business. that it makes it very difficult for them to do their jobs and still deliver premium content to
But
you
it also
guys.
forces us to be infinitely more creative, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Like, how do we get around those rules? One of the
It's
things I
actually
always
a corner.
Well, one of the things I always talk about is the Ren and Stimpy show. When it was on Nickelodeon, there was a lot of stuff they couldn't do for TV. So they tried to get it across by being real sneaky and getting it in there. And then when they went to the Ren and Stimpy adult cartoon party, no rules. So they're just like, yeah, Ren and Stimpy are gay and they have butt sex. And then it's not funny anymore
wasn't
because
good.
it's just like, you're just saying it. You're not being clever in any way.
Yeah. They didn't bury the lead
Yeah.
in Stimpy's butt.
Hey.
Oh.
Butt sex is never funny.
So Jen, then that leads me to you then with that same
And
question.
butt sex.
Given that you are an illustrator and you work in a very different side of the industry than Jen works in, what do you think is your biggest challenge as an illustrator for My Little Pony?
We don't care, you know. We do what we want. No, God, the biggest challenge we face, I think, is honestly, it's not stepping on the toes of the show. I feel like, you know, we don't want to do something that's going to upset what, you know, Jim and everyone is doing on the show and take away from that, because the show comes first. To me, you know, like the issue I did, which was Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, you know, you guys on the show went and ruined that and redeemed her, which completely
You're
ruined,
welcome.
which completely ruined what Jeremy and I did. But I mean,
Did they not tell you that was coming?
no one told us anything. We just did what we did, and then Jim ruined it.
I did it
for us.
specifically to screw with you.
I had a feeling, even though we didn't know each other at the
Exactly.
time, I had a feeling. You went, fuck Jen Blake. That bitch and her lesbian pony.
He doesn't like Jeremy.
He doesn't like Jeremy?
That's your words. I've never met the man.
Oh, now we're... He
But
doesn't like Andy. No.
You guys work in very different departments. and
Oh, we don't even-
I
we're
had
nowhere
never met
near-
or spoken to Jen before.
Yeah,
this
we have
evening.
nothing to do with each other.
No.
Then
Except
that's
for-
fair enough. That's an
except for the
example
sex.
for
Except for the
people
sex.
who don't work in
Just
entertainment.
by phone, though.
Yeah, we have a lot of phone sex.
We just text the word sex.
That's all we do. We just text sex back.
That's how that works, right?
Yes.
And then Big
And then a
Mac.
picture of a phone.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to make Charlie feel some modicum of comfort.
It does.
And a picture, and a
Charlie is
picture,
numb at this point.
and then a picture of Big Mac, because we both love
so
Peter.
happy that Peter's not here right now.
I wish Peter was here.
I kind of wish Peter was here too.
Like 20 times dirtier.
I
We
don't
can bring
know.
back TubCon.
I don't know. I think we don't speak about TubCon.
I just did. What do you do about it?
You know, honestly, I
So
think
much trouble right now.
right. I think that I don't know. Honestly, the challenge, I think, it's like I said. It's like we don't want to do anything the show is going to do first, which has happened. There has been, you know, scripts that the show was going to do, the comic wants to do. The show has first dibs. You know, so I think that's kind of a thing. You know, otherwise, I mean, the comic is so separate from the show.
I
It's
wish
not
there was
canon.
more communication between the two.
I agree.
And I mean, I've
think-
talked to Katie and Andy and Heather about this sort of stuff.
And
It would
they're
be
the
nice
bigger
if there
names.
was, but it's
Yes.
just, I don't know that the lines of communication are set up properly yet.
And I don't think they are. I think it's so separate because Hasbro handles you guys, Hasbro handles us, and we're very much far apart from each other. I mean,
But a lot of people don't realize in entertainment that there is that much of a separation between all of the different departments that
Right.
do all of the
Right.
different things for them. A lot of people who don't work in entertainment regularly just don't know that you guys don't get to communicate amongst each other. I
No.
mean, here you are at this convention just meeting each other for the first time.
Right.
You know, and you guys work on
and-
two very different
And Jim
topics.
regrets it immediately.
Oh, I'm flying out tomorrow.
Wait, hang on.
Oh, what?
Jen has ruined this con for Jim.
Okay, so
There would be a
guys, thanks very much. So before we close out, is there anything that you guys just want to promote that you have coming up that maybe isn't pony related, or is just anything that you want to make sure people know about is coming?
I have to take a pee right after this.
Okay.
Right, so
Mark
that's
your
happening now.
calendars.
That'll be on
It's gonna be a great pee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it'll be live
Periscope
streamed.
What?
Princeless.
Okay, I have to.
Yeah, you actually have a
I
legit
have to
name.
promote Princeless, which is Jeremy Whitley, who does a lot of writing for My Little Pony. Has a creator-owned series. It's called Princeless. It's about a princess who gets tired of waiting for men to always rescue her, so she escapes from her tower and goes around and rescues other princesses. It's a fantastic comic, very, very much for young girls who are looking to be empowered. It's a fantastic comic. Jeremy has amazingly put together an anthology that will come out in the fall. People like Gail Simone, who's written Birds of Prey, Batgirl, some of the best DC comics. Tony Fleece, who does the does the My Little Pony comics. Myself, we're all part of this anthology. It'll be coming out in the fall. I've done 10 pages. I think it's probably the best work I've done in my career so far. I've had so much fun with it. That'll come out in the fall. I do have one more cover for My Little Pony coming out. I don't know what's next after that. We have some pitches. We'll see what happens. Very excited about that, but definitely Princeless. I think if you guys want to try something that's outside of My Little Pony, outside of superheroes, Princeless is an amazing book. Jeremy Whitley is the kind of writer who just everyone should check out because he does amazing work. So that's what I got.
I'm fully in.
Yep, sounds great.
Yeah, and then I'll be doing porn later.
I'm also in that. Also in that.
Goat is in the porn.
With a real goat.
He brings
Charlie
it.
is so
I'm doing
uncomfortable.
the female
Me
lead.
too.
She's doing the male lead.
Rare Bear is in the porn.
Yeah.
I'm taking the pictures.
She's taking the pictures.
Bubbles will be doing.
Suzanne's boobies.
There we
Suzanne's
go.
boobies.
Yeah, it's-
Charlie will be getting me.
Boobies.
Charlie
Yeah.
will be getting me pregnant again.
Richard, I'm not even your son, and I'm sorry.
She has amazing boobies.
Yes, it's gonna be a
You do have
five-way.
amazing. I mean,
Five-way with Charlie getting pregnant.
I think you do need to talk about Charlie and his crabs, though.
Yeah. There's a pesticide.
Charlie, you've been strangely quiet for a while.
It's very
Have I?
It's very itchy down there.
I'm
Charlie.
sorry. I've been.
You've gone to your happy place in your head?
I've been thinking about things.
He's been wiping the sweat from his brow.
I regret everything.
I've been questioning all my life choices.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome, Charlie.
Sure. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this up. So, guys, thanks very much for hanging out with us. If you have liked what you heard, our normal show, to be fair, is
It's nothing like
It's
this.
so normal.
So
If you
don't
like
listen.
this, we're not gonna entertain you on the other side.
But the episode that we did, I think it was one. So this is episode 161. I think it was episode 155 or 156. That
Sounds familiar.
That Jen was on. Is this a cell?
You're on Snap Potato.
That's my uncomfortable face.
Snap Potato.
Big apple.
That's that show that we had Jen on via Skype was a lot more closer to what we normally do. And so normally we do news and the feature and mailbag and all these things like that.
There wasn't booze involved.
If you would like to check out what Gamerhead Radio is normally like, or just follow us anyways,
It's
just to
not
see.
always like this.
Unfortunately, we're like a 4-minute show,
I-
and it's not a train wreck on the
We
rails.
can't have these two on every single episode.
We could.
I'm not doing anything. I didn't come back.
We could. We might hire them as permanent 4 or 5.
Just do Charlie and just do Jim and I have a panel.
Okay, done. So if you like what you heard or like to see what it's normally like, you can find us at GamerheadRadio.com, at Facebook.com/GamerheadRadio, at Google.com/+GamerheadRadio, and on Twitter at GamerheadRadio, where I am at TEK Charlie. Goat is at Sir Goatsworth. John is at the Fallon Flynn. Jen Blake 616. Did I get that right?
Lesbian bitch. I don't know.
Sure.
Oh, you changed your Twitter handle. I'm so proud.
and the biggest Jim on Twitter.
Actually, it's now going to be turned to large James.
Yeah.
Wait, hold
Or
on.
in Korean, it's Kunjin.
Do you have proof that you are the biggest Jim on Twitter?
No. It was just what I was available. And I'm like,
okay.
There's a larger Jim, and he scares everybody.
He does porn.
So why don't you guys get up for Jim and Jen for entertaining you guys this evening?
And do it for Charlie for dealing with our bullshit.
It's true. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Ponyhead Radio.
And for the fact that Larson wouldn't show.
If we tried to find him, I'm really sorry.
That's
He
okay.
had already left because he's a slacker. I was gonna.
Oh!
He has things. He's not a slacker. He has things.
No,
Wow.
I was gonna offer my boobs again.
Wait,
He's a
what?
slacker. Total slacker.
I know what that's like right now.
Okay,
If boob signing is not getting in here, that's slacking.
You can, let me just please put this to bed. you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, YouTube, Twitch, or with your podcast download choice. We're basically on every podcast platform. We also have an official Android app in the Google Play Store, Gamerhead Radio. Just search for that. We have an actual app.
Thanks to
And-
the beautiful Charlie, we are on the internet.
Yes, that.
Let's give him a round of applause for being on the internet.
Jim and Jen, I want to get a Gamerhead selfie with you guys so we can post it up online later. On 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, that was
That was terrible.
It was.
Once again,
Yeah, it was.
if you are so
God,
inclined, we have at the very least t-shirts and glassware available for sale.
You need to buy that stuff.
I will draw something on it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
We'll draw on it.
I will draw on it.
Can you draw a big dick for me?
I can draw a huge dick on it for you.
Folks, thank you very much for joining and listening. This has been a semblance of Gamerhead Radio.
No, I'm here to make sure no one rushes. Attacks.
Yeah.
I don't need to be standing up. I really don't need to be standing up.
This is for you. Do you want a small, a medium?
Medium.
That's for you, sister, to keep.
Not normally a trainer. It's a dick trainer.
I have a regular XL.
Thanks for getting me pregnant.
Oh, you're welcome. Sorry for making you feel horrible. That was
your shirt here.
quite possible.
Thank you for coming on.
Oh, anytime.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. I know it's yours.